morning, everybody. How is everyone doing? Hope all's well. Hi, Fem. Hi, Becky.
Morning.
I was totally in the zone there, and I was like, "Oh crap!"
I was just boogieing. I was like,
I have the giggles because that music is just hilarious.
oh, it's hilarious. It's great, isn't it?
I love it.
It's just what you need
I
on a
set
Friday
that
morning.
as my alarm. I want that as my alarm music. So every morning I wake up and
I feel like it's proper Friday feeling music.
Definitely, yeah.
How's everyone doing? Hi, Lynette.
Okay.
Hello, Lauren. Diana, great to see
Morning.
you.
Hi, Diana.
Morning, ladies.
Diana's been waiting 2 weeks for me to be on, so yay.
Oh, wow, yay. Thanks for joining. I think you were on last week as well. Maybe you're disappointed that it wasn't
No.
Ben.
Yeah, Diana has been waiting for me.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Diana, you got us instead,
yeah.
So you can tell me later about what I'm going to say and if it's correct or not.
If it's right. Yeah, that's true. Hi, Chris. Great to have everyone. Yeah, Lynette on your day off.
Oh, amazing, Lynette, again on your day off. Bless you, you are hardcore.
Whilst having a little clean around the house. Oh, I cleaned my house yesterday. It was so satisfying.
I need to clean my house.
Well, morning, Chris. Chris was the guy that did our FHN event on Wednesday in the studio.
Oh, yes.
For Air Events. It was brilliant, the setup. So morning, Chris. Lovely to see you. Well, hear from you, whatever you do. We neither do we, but
you're right.
You know you're there. Yeah.
We've had a super busy week this week for Selling Savvy, well, in general, really. You guys ran a consultative selling course.
Yeah,
at the beginning
it
of
was
the
great.
Week. It feels like about 3 years ago now.
We had a lovely bunch of ladies, didn't we, Fem? Really interactive. So it was great for us. Yeah.
And they came out with a win. Like an hour after the course finished, we got an email, didn't we, saying, I've just confirmed an appointment, someone she'd been trying to get hold of for ages.
Yeah, it's really good.
It makes it all worthwhile, doesn't it, when you see that? You're just like, yes!
Oh, totally, yeah. And then we had some burst sessions yesterday, which are our little mini free mentoring sessions for 15 minutes.
That was good. I was put on the spot about social media quite a lot.
Yeah, you were.
But I was amazed by what you knew, Fem, already. You know all this stuff. See, you know all this stuff. You're just a guru now.
You know it, yeah. And then Fem, you did a guest speaking slot, didn't you, on Wednesday?
Yes, did a guest speaking slot all about virtual show rounds with the Smart Training Group for 11 venues in Cambridge. That was really good.
Which was really cool. Yeah, a bit different, nice collaboration.
Yeah, so we've been everywhere. You can't escape us this week.
Been everywhere.
Not least singing. Well, if you could call it that.
Song. I hope that put a smile on everybody's faces, or hysterical laughing at least.
It put a smile on Neil Thompson's face, we know that much.
Yeah, from Delegate Wranglers, yeah. I actually, looking back, don't know what we thought it would come out like. I'm like, how did we actually envisage this? Because it seemed like a really good idea. Like
it was one of those.
The way we can support this is
on paper. And can I just say, for once, it wasn't my doing. I know I'm always the one that gets the blame for making you do these things. I mean, I suppose I did say, oh, let's do something a bit different. So I'm afraid, Fem, you're to blame on this one.
I think you might be.
Yeah, sorry.
It's all right.
It's all right. It was fun.
It was fun, yeah. So yeah, quite a busy week, a very productive week, and also very humiliating week. We carry on. Thanks guys for joining us today on our Savvy Says Surgery. So this was off the back of Boris last week, and we all sort of put our heads together and was like, right, what can we do to support really and help people out, because we don't want our industry to get forgotten about anymore.
So we should just say as well, Kate, sorry to butt in, we're missing Amanda, unfortunately, who obviously you were supposed to have all 4 of us on today, but sadly Amanda's got a migraine, so lots of love to Amanda and get well soon.
Yeah, bless her. We miss you. It's weird how we yeah, so we're on for an hour today. You'll be sick of us by 10:30. And we've had some really great questions actually come through from different kind of people in different companies within events and within the entire industry. So we're going to kind of go through them, but if anyone wants to interject or has got any interesting questions or anything, or want some help and support, then do just pop it in the comments. Let us know. So Diana, we can see Rachel. Hi Rachel. Martina and Becky Towell, nice to see you. Thanks for joining, guys. So should we start our first question? It's landing on your lap, I think, Fem.
Great.
So Lynette sent some great questions through from Alma Rose Hotels. Hi Lynette, whilst you're cleaning. What's important to event agencies right now, and how should we be talking to them?
Okay. Feeling the pressure a bit with Diana watching me. Well,
yeah, that's true.
There's quite a few layers to this. Oh, Becky's disappeared. There's a few different layers to this, and how should, if you technically ask how should we be talking to event agencies, then obviously there has to be a lot of empathy, because as with everyone in the industry, event agencies are struggling, and also we only get commission when an event goes ahead usually, so that's not been great. So really I would say talking to them, as we've been saying about everyone in the industry, is asking how people are, what their situation is. People are making redundancies, people are on furlough, so I would have initially always the conversation about what situation they're in before you start anything else.
It's tricky. It's really hard with event agencies, and I feel like people might attack me for saying this, one of the ones that have been affected the most, because they don't have anything to fall back on. Like hotels have got leisure business, or restaurants, or kind of little bits of incremental spend that they can pick up, which I know isn't much. Whereas agencies is purely commission based.
Yes, and not all agencies just work purely on commission.
No.
But if we but yes, you're right. I mean, if an event's not happening, then it's not happening, so can't really do much about that. So I think the really important thing when speaking to agencies is really about protecting that relationship with the agency's client. So if you do have an event that's been cancelled and maybe the client gets in touch because they want to rebook, always make sure that you kind of strengthen that relationship that you have and that the client has with the agency, because when things go back to normal, you want the business to go through the agency, because they've lost so much. So I think that's important, and making sure for whatever reason you don't go direct or do anything like that, which I know most people won't, but just making an extra fuss about the relationship that the agency has with their client. I think, because when we go back, we need to make sure that it's the same kind of booking pattern, if that makes sense. And then also, if you do want to talk to agencies, and it goes both ways, you can talk to each other about what is happening in the industry. You can find things out, like which industries are booking, which what type of bookings are you getting, and that is an agency talking to a hotel, or a hotel talking to an agency. So just really having a conversation together about what's going on, really. And then the other thing is, I was going to say,
can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I know the questions aren't supposed to come from me, but anyway, I'm going to ask anyway. What about fam trips? Because I've heard several clients doing fam trips with event agencies.
Yeah.
Do you find on the whole people are up for it at the moment, or? I
think it really depends. I think it's just, and that is why I said initially you have to have the conversation about what's exactly going on inside an agency. You can't just go in and say, hey, do you want to come on a fam trip? And then they say, well, actually yesterday we've had to make loads of our staff redundant. So it's like that with all the conversations that we're having at the moment. I had to cancel an event this week with the hotel, and I knew that the day before they'd made loads of redundancies, and it was awful. So you kind of go in there a little bit carefully. So yes, and I was going to say something else, but I forgot what it was. I mean, there's the obvious thing about commission. If there is anything that you can do on commission, on cancellation, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this, but then that's the only income agencies have, so that's always helpful. But I know hotels are also struggling, so it's not
I guess it's a case with everybody that we're all playing the long game here, and it's all relationship driven, and it's always going to remember that if you kind of help us out, we'll help you out in the future. And that can't always be financially, you know, but it can be just supporting and like you say, being mindful of those relationships that they've got.
Yeah, and I think fam trips just have to be relevant. So I don't think anyone is just going to go on a jolly for the sake of it at the moment, because, you know, you are taking possibly a risk by going somewhere and being with other people. So you need to make sure that it's safe. And I've talked about show rounds this week, and I've been on a few myself, and the ones that I enjoyed the most were the ones where people were really making sure that I felt like they were taking it seriously, and they were they had all the protocols in place. Yeah, I hope that answers your question, Lynette.
Yeah, Lynette's actually put in here, totally agree with commission where possible on cancellation.
Yeah, I think, and this is the other thing I was going to say about commission, is just if you can, and the commission is still outstanding from events that happened ages ago, please pay it, because that's what
it's all really survival and cash flow for all businesses at the moment. And if there is any like money being withheld, or you know, just invoices that need paying, everybody just needs that ticking over cash flow, don't they?
I think.
Sorry, by the way, my internet just completely checked me out, gave me no warning. If you wonder where I disappeared, I've not had enough.
I'm bored, I'm off.
Yeah, bored, I'm off, yeah.
We believe you, Becky.
I do tend to bore people a lot.
That's it.
You don't. Cool. So if anybody, as I say, has got any other questions, pop them in the chat box. We've got another one here from Rachel. Nice to see you here, Rachel, from Swift Venue Finders. Any ideas how to pivot businesses? And we've kind of had a chat about this, and everybody's trying to pivot that word. Everyone's using. I know some people are sick of it. I actually quite like it because it is really relevant for the time.
You need to get a thesaurus out and just find a new word for the same meaning.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, that's true.
I didn't know what it was before COVID, but I'm foreign, so that's my excuse.
It's not a COVID word. It's not like furlough.
I know.
Yeah, nobody knew what furlough meant, did they?
I've never had to pivot before.
Yeah. Well,
I thought it was a dance move.
Many people haven't had to pivot, I guess, but oops, I've just
so many people have had to, though,
recently.
Definitely.
Yeah, not many people have had to in the past, but now all businesses are doing it. And in terms of ideas, Rachel, I think the only way to work out which direction anybody's going to go in is to do the research on what markets are booking, what companies are booking, what type of events. Like, just talk to everybody in your network and find out what's going on in the marketplace. And then kind of like, I know those words, transferable skills, aren't particularly like desired, but what sort of things can you do in a slightly different direction? I don't know what you guys think.
I think the question is, do you want to pivot? If you feel like you want to explore something new, you know, lots of people going into virtual, that's fine. And otherwise, stick with what you know, and then just make sure that you've got, you keep in touch with your clients, and you explore maybe new ones. But it's really the question of some people have gone like, oh yes, let me pivot, and they've gone for it, and some people might just decide not to. So it's up to
I think person. I agree if you want to, but sometimes there's a bit of a need. And how long are you going to pick? Like, it might just be to get a bit of money, because in all honesty, we pivoted over lockdown into running virtual training, and I didn't think, do I want to run virtual training or not? I just was like, I need to get some cash in, let's do this. And actually I now love it, and I wouldn't have thought I would have loved it before.
I think it depends on your industry, not industry, obviously we know the industry, it depends on your business, really. I mean, obviously, I know it's slightly off on a tangent, but I work a lot, as you know, with my social media side of things with the restaurants, and a lot of them were amazing at pivoting during lockdown. You know, the sort of heat to eat type meals, and the Sunday lunch at home. And I've just noticed that Red True Barbecue this morning have started doing meat packages to take home, instead of actually going in to eat. And obviously hybrid events for venues, which we keep chopping on about. But that is a way of
But I wouldn't.
bringing money in, isn't it, still?
Yeah, but I think in terms of Fem, what you say about wanting to, I think you're right that do you want to do it because you want to get, like, working out what your reasons are? Do you want to do it because you need to get some cash in the bank for the next few months? Or do you want to be like, right, this is actually, Swift Venue Finders is now going to be known as the virtual venue finding agency, or virtual, hybrid venue finding agency. So working out what your reasons are, and then doing your research about the market and what the people are doing. Like we've talked so much about competitor research recently, haven't we? About like doing that SWOT analysis, but actually a COVID specific one, like not just what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, but how have they changed? Like what are their new strengths that they're now pushing? What are they actually falling behind on a bit in the market? So yeah,
I had a burst mentoring session, I'm sure she won't mind, with Courtney yesterday from ARC Recruitment, and they used to just be a sole hospitality recruitment company, and they've had to pivot and look at other sectors and other industries, because obviously they used to supply events people, which just aren't happening at the moment. So there's a lot of stuff out there, and they've had to. So it might just be a case of looking at a different sector for a while, or that kind of thing.
We've got some interesting comments on
lots
here.
of comments.
Chris, I think a lot of people are scared to pivot, especially using technology.
That's why we need you, Chris, you see.
That's lucky.
Good segue.
But then I think you're right, Chris, and rightly so, because you don't want to be pitching yourself as a hybrid event expert and not knowing diddly squat about it. But that's when the collaborations really come in and can be lucrative for both parties.
Definitely.
Becky went to an amazing hybrid event yesterday. Oh, did you see the pictures? For you?
My colleague from the Female Hospitality Network helped organise that.
So lovely. Edwin, I'm thinking of changing direction at the moment. Edwin's a photographer, everyone in Birmingham. I was holding out till the 1st of October, but now I know I need to. I'm going to do some research and looking at taking away industry selling on these deliveries platforms, on Just Eat and Deliveroo.
That's a good idea.
Ooh, extra.
Edwin will know what we're talking about there. Extra.
He calls us totally extra for our mugs that have got our names on them. I don't think they're extra at all. I'm sat here with the most giantest balloon ever in my office. I don't understand what you mean, Edwin. Can you explain to me?
I think that I presume he means on providing photography for those sites, does he?
Oh,
platforms. I could be completely wrong.
Elaborate, Edwin.
Please tell me if I am wrong.
I mean, that is a good idea and a prime example of what we were trying to say. Like, do your research about what industries are thriving at the moment and then work out how you can work with them.
Definitely. In fact, Edwin, I was just hassling one of my social media restaurant clients this morning for not having any pictures of their takeaways to promote. So they need you.
That's lucky.
Put them in touch.
Put them in touch. Yeah, there's a lead for you straight off.
A little bit far away, but you never know.
I hope that helped, Rachel. I feel like we went off on a bit of a tangent, but I think there's a lot of prep and research to be doing before you decide how to pivot.
Definitely,
So we also had a question from Helen Deacon from Derbyshire Cricket Club, who I don't think can make it today, but she's going to watch it back. In the current situation, what is the one most important thing you should have on your daily sales task to-do list? So having had a burst mentoring session with Helen, she's on her own in the team now, unfortunately, and is therefore swamped with I mean, not necessarily with inquiries, but running the events, like all the logistics, everything. And then she's trying to be proactive, she's trying to run Christmas, or trying to do something with Christmas. So it's kind of about prioritizing. What do you guys have used to-do lists?
Oh yes.
I love a to-do list.
I have a master to-do list in my notebook on the front, and then I have I usually highlight the things that I need to do on that. So I pick out the 3 most important ones and make sure, okay, these are the ones I need to do today, and anything else, if I get to it, that's bonus.
I'm similar, and I also, because I also try and make sure that I have half an hour at least, I know it doesn't sound like much, of proactivity a day, i.e. don't get too embroiled in just my to-do list and the reactive stuff, but something that I'm either learning or is actually a lot more for the future, strategic, to kind of like keep on top of things. So, you know, it might be a half an hour of learning, or it might be a half an hour of doing something that I know isn't necessarily important at the moment, but it is in the longer term. It's just kind of like keeping that on there as well, because it's easy to push that off when you're being really reactive to stuff, I think.
Yeah, the kind of like strategy and longer term stuff, definitely. I was going to say, I love a to-do list as well. I write one every morning and then I highlight it as I do it, and then it's so satisfying because the page gets covered in colour. Well,
also,
sometimes.
you're like a machine, and it just goes tick 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 tick. And we're like, what have you done?
Speedy.
There's nothing more satisfying than crossing something off your to-do list.
Yeah,
I love it. Yeah.
But Helen, I also do my to-do list with little like lines as bullet points, and then I put stars next to the most important ones.
Yeah.
And Helen, I would suggest having the things at the top of your to-do list, or the things that the most highest priority things, the things that you don't want to do.
Eat the frog, they say, don't they? They call it eat the frog.
Yeah, we've got a time management grid as a resource, a free resource on our website actually, which might be worth looking at if anybody does want to work out how to prioritize. And it's prioritizing those things that you don't, that you know you're going to put off, but that it'll make you feel really good once you've done it. Usually it's proactive stuff, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's like making those phone calls, or that sort of thing, or doing a video for LinkedIn. They sort
or
of
a song.
or a song. They sort of get put down the list. So if you do try and get to them first thing, then you know you'll always have time for the reactive stuff. I find I'll always do the reactive stuff.
Sorry. Something that somebody always told me, which has always worked quite well for me, is it's something that you're desperately putting off. Just work on it for 10 minutes and just say you're going to set an alarm for 10 minutes and work on it for 10 minutes, because it doesn't seem like much. Usually after those 10 minutes, you get into it and it doesn't seem as bad, rather than just stopping. So it's kind of like really breaking it down as well. So if you've got to do something, break it down into little steps and just say, well, I'm just going to do that step today, and I'll do that step of it tomorrow, and eventually you get there.
That's a really good idea. You kind of fall into the things that you enjoy doing, don't you? Yeah.
We had some people on our course, on the consultative selling course earlier this week, and they also said they were so busy reacting to everything that came in, especially after the announcement about things, you know, postponing and people changing their minds and just constantly working on the same events, but then not actually happening. And I think it's just good to take, maybe even if it's half an hour, or because we were talking about competitor analysis, and they said we haven't even looked at our competitors, we haven't had time for it. But if you do set aside maybe half an hour a day for things that also need happening but are not that reactive, you will have time for the reactive stuff. And also you just you know, you just take some time to look at the things that you think you don't have time for.
That's what I was thinking when I said the half an hour in the morning. And I find half an hour in the morning works quite well, because it's before you get embroiled, you know, even before you look at your emails and your social, because you know what it's like. Once you look at those, you start thinking of them, don't you, and all the other things that you've got to react to.
Especially when
make
your
sure
phone,
you turn them off. If you turn your emails and your everything off when you're doing something that you don't need that for, if it's research or anything else that you're doing.
The other thing that I tend to do, if you are somebody who works from your emails, which I've been known to do before, or not known to do, but I've definitely noticed myself doing it, is I email myself tasks, because I need to in my head I'm like, I need to get it out my inbox. It's just annoying me. And it's only like Kate Plowright, from Kate Plowright to Kate Plowright. But it's like jobs of, you know, like usually proactive stuff that I need to do.
Should we be worried about this, Kate? Are you having like a proper chat with yourself?
Having a breakdown over here, don't worry. No, it's usually stuff that I'm putting off. I'm like, right, if I put it in my inbox, I know I'll do it.
I'm the same, because my inbox, I'm one of those people that can't have that many emails in my inbox. I have a colleague who has all the time she has like 300 emails. Diana might know who I'm talking about, in her
Gives me
inbox.
anxiety.
And yeah, and I look at it and I go, oh my God. And once I actually tried to file them for her. I was like, you can't have this, but she's okay with that. But I have to have a very limited amount of emails in my inbox. So if I send it to myself, I will do it, because yeah, I
use those little flags as well. I have like red flags on my emails.
I used to do that. I
Yeah.
haven't done that recently. Yeah, that's a good one.
We all like. Has anybody else got any like time management tips that we don't know of?
Yeah.
There's loads out there, isn't there? Something else I did do for a while actually, and I think I feel like getting back into it. Have you heard of the Pomodoro technique, where you work on something for you put on a timer for 25, 30 minutes, I think it is, and you can get an app, but at the end of the day, it's just a timer, so you only need your stopwatch. And you work on something for 25 minutes, and you stop for 5 minutes, 25 minutes, stop. And it actually is, because you kind of got in the mindset that you've just got this chunk of time and you turn everything else off. For a lot of people, it makes them a lot more productive.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I worked on that for a while.
And also on top of your one, maybe not on top of your list, but in your list somewhere needs to be time off. So time for a break, time for lunch, time for whatever. I used to kind of fly out the door when I had to pick up my kids from school. And my mum's like, why don't you just before kind of 3 o'clock just have a cup of tea or something? And now sometimes I do that. So I do it after I drop them off, and I do it before that I pick them up. I just take a few minutes, because otherwise I'm still thinking about work. They're coming in.
I just don't have the time.
It's such a good thing to do.
Time, but I probably,
I actually have a timer on my phone that says stop 15 minutes before school ends, and I did do it for a while, and I've stopped again. I used to be like you. I used to be picking them up. They used to be telling me about the day, and I'm still thinking about the email I didn't get a chance to finish.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you can do it, it's a very good thing to do.
Emailing on the way to school.
Yeah.
Just emailing on the way to the school run.
I've made phone calls in the nursery queue pickup.
Yeah, me too.
Sad, isn't it?
So thank you
know
for
what I'd
reminding me of
really
that.
like to do? I mean, this is a bit of a personal thing, but there's a 7-minute workout app that I used to do, and I loved it. I would love to just like turn everything off like once every couple of hours and do a 7-minute workout here. I think that would be really good, because it's not massively strenuous, but just gets the blood pumping.
Or going for a walk, that helps.
Yeah,
a nice mindful walk is nice. Yeah.
Anyway, I hope that answers your question.
We have gone off on a tangent again. It's not like us at all, is it?
I would prioritise the things that you don't want to do, because the things that you enjoy and the reactive stuff you'll always have defined time for.
Yeah, definitely.
We had a great question from Becky as well, Becky Towell, from Full Circle Events and Psychic Peacock. How do you sell at the minute and get ideas and products across, aside from standard brochures and social media?
Ooh.
Yeah, every road leads to social media in my life.
Yeah.
Every road. There are, I mean, me and Becky had a burst session actually, was it last week or the week before? Sorry, all the weeks are blending into one at the moment. And we did talk obviously a lot about social media, but we also talked a lot about relationship building. I know she was starting to get lots of appointments with venues, etc., that she'd been doing research on previously. A lot of it was previously done via social media, I think. So obviously to me, it's that consultative selling and meeting up with these guys and letting them know what she can offer. But also being that go-to expert. And again, I suppose that does go back to social media, but mainly maybe doing some sort of PR around that, you know, maybe offering to give your opinion on the events industry from your perspective, or offering to loan your expertise to an event, maybe free of charge, but to get some exposure. You know, so there are other ways. Definitely.
I was literally just thinking about that, Becky, collaborations, because selling is not selling as it used to be. I don't know if you've seen that this marketing and sales cycle as it has evolved over the last 6 months, or probably a year really, pre-COVID. How it used to be like a certain amount of marketing and then it would be like one-to-one selling. Now the marketing is just, you know, 90% of the sales cycle. And then the 10% is really, so they've researched everybody before they've even got to you. So that proactivity of finding those people who are researching you or who are your target market is essential at the moment. And one of the great ways of doing it, which we do a lot, is to collaborate with companies who have the same client as you, but don't do the same thing as you. For instance, we did work with the HBAA and the MIA. Their clients are hotels, event businesses, event suppliers, which is obviously our target market, but we're not in competition with them. And that worked really well for both of us. And they were able to offer some training to their members, and we were obviously able to get exposure to their members as well. So,
yeah, no, definitely. And a lot of the work I get from my social media arm, it comes through a couple of consultants that I work with, and their jobs are to open bars and restaurants operationally, but obviously they've got the same target market as me. So if you can find people that are looking for the same people as you are and work together on it, like you just said, that will take half of the pressure away as well.
Yeah.
Blogs as well, writing blogs. You could write some blogs.
When you were talking about pitching yourself as an expert, blogs are really useful, and you can use them, which kind of ties into our next question actually, on as kind of excuses to get in touch with people. Like, you know, oh, I've seen this blog. They don't even have to be written by you. Just Google a blog post that would be relevant for a client and send it to them. I saw this blog post, thought it might be interesting for you, because I know we were chatting about XYZ before, or I've seen you're running an event here.
Well, obviously there's your email database, Becky, as well. Assuming you've got a decent email database, you can keep in touch with people on there as well. I mean, often that is hand in hand with social media, but that's another way of sharing your blog. I know we share our blogs, don't we, Kate, on our emails that we send out.
Yeah, so we put them, we multi-purpose them.
Yeah,
we'll try to. We send them on emails, we put them on LinkedIn, we put them on our Facebook business page, and we put them on Delegate Wranglers on the Supplier Hour. And by like covering all those bases, you're reusing content a lot.
Yeah.
And also you're pitching yourself as an expert. Hopefully it comes across like that anyway, guys.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And even though we're not talking about social media, I'm going to have to talk about social media because I just can't help it, because I'm just a social media geek. You can also break down the blog into like top tips that you might be able to do little videos on and that kind of thing. So Kate is right, you can proper I mean, I was chatting to somebody yesterday actually about all the things you could do with a blog. You can pull bits out and do a post around that, or a video around that. So there's loads of stuff you can do just from one blog.
And I feel we've talked about blogs before, I'm sure, on this, but one of don't be daunted about writing them. I was really nervous when I first started like doing them a couple of years ago, and I was like, oh God, starting with a blank piece of paper. What I would do is think of something that's relevant to your target market and do it like 4 top tips too, or something, because then all you need is 4 bullet points and then a beginning and an end.
You just need to think about what the things are, the pain points are for your market. So what things are they looking to get answers to? There is actually there's an app online, I can't remember what it's called, I'll find it, which shows you all the questions that people are asking on that subject on Google. I'll find it and I'll pop it in.
We could do with that, Becky.
Yeah, funnily enough, I've already looked at it from but I'll pop it in the chat. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but yeah,
that's really interesting. Has anyone got any other questions? Please do fire them over if you want any support with anything.
There's a few people saying a few things, I think, as well. Edwin has said, yes, creating content for takeaways. How do you become a good seller on these delivery systems? How can they build trust and sell more? Oh, that's good. That is, Edwin, definitely.
That's really good. Competitive marketing.
I'm working quite a lot at the moment with my restaurant clients, and they're obviously been pivoted into takeaways, and they're using those sorts of apps. So that's a really good thought.
So we had another question from Laura Rachel Moore. Hi, Laura, who I've just seen is on here too, from Coombe Abbey. My brother got married at Coombe Abbey. I was 11 years old. I was a little bridesmaid.
Wow.
So yeah, great to have you here. Advice on what I need to do with relationship calls. So I mean, I did say it's quite relatively similar to the one before, but I think keeping in touch is all about, similar to what Fen was saying at the beginning, I think, asking how people are, what their lockdown situation was, what their setup is, are they back at work, are they still booking events, or is somebody else doing that now? Just having those chats.
Yeah, I think what I'm doing with my clients as well, is seeing what they're up to and then sending them little messages. So obviously they're not having events at the moment that are face-to-face, so maybe they're going virtual, and there've been a lot this month because it's September and everyone has their event in September. So I just sent them a little message to say, oh, how did it go? Because that's a new experience for them as well, and just kind of making sure that you're showing an interest in what they are doing and not just disappearing from the face of the earth, basically.
Yeah, totally.
And it's
some
so easy to find out what people are doing at the moment. You just look at, you know, social media or LinkedIn, or you know, you could just give them a call, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be doing LinkedIn as much as possible, and then phone calls every now and again as well. Oh, Becky, well done, you put it in there.
Put it in there. It's a fabulous thing as well. It does it in kind of, it gives you your word, and then it does it as like a big spiral graph, and it tells you all the questions that people ask around it. So it's a really good tool. Answerthepublic.com it is.
So we've got another question here as well. Are phone photos okay for social distance setups, as you can't afford an expensive photographer right now? If you've got, I mean, I've got an iPhone 10 and the photos are amazing. I think they'd be absolutely
actually fine. On social media, a good quality picture taken on your phone does better than, sorry Edwin, does better than a very, very staged photo, for example. Because people, if it's too staged, it looks a bit like a stock photo, and I've got a big bugbear about stock photos, as you know.
I love them, but anyway. Yeah. Only because I find the really good ones.
But we've got some great photos now. We don't need stock photos because we've got Edwin's photos.
That's true. Edwin's are better.
Yeah.
I think here as well. Jan, Becky's comment about working with people with the same target audience. Totally agree. That's how we pivoted, changed our business model. Okay, interesting. We'll have to read that later.
Oh yeah, we'll have to have a look. I'll have a look at that, Jan, when we've got a bit more time. Bless you.
Sorry, I'm sneezing. Yeah, Amanda's had a chat with Jan actually. Me and Jan were messaging last night on the sofa.
Ooh.
About the hospitality partnership. Looks really interesting. I had a look at their website. Yeah, great idea. So yeah, Lynette, I think phone photos are fine, social distance setups, and I think don't stress about affording an expensive photographer, because everybody knows the boat that everybody's in, you know. And then Becky, we've got a question for you. Are you social media, are we just talking about meetings of up to 30 now and then larger conferences for 2021 onwards?
Good question.
Sorry, I've totally put you on the spot.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah. Well, social media wise, 80% of your social media should be non-promotional anyway. So it should be that 80-20 Pareto's law kind of split.
Does she mean, like, is it still okay to use past photographs?
Yeah, I think where possible, as we've talked about in terms of adapting your product and services through our consultative selling, you do obviously need to make sure that the photos that you use at the moment are relevant. Obviously things are going to change, so we do want to get bigger bookings in for 2021. So I do think it's okay to use those, as long as you're referencing the fact and acknowledging the fact that this is based around sort of more business in the longer term rather than in the shorter term. But you need to do a mixture of both. So we do need to be talking, I think, at the moment, more probably about the social distancing up to 30 people. So people know what you can do. They don't want to just dismiss the fact that you can't do something. Let them know what you are able to do, because they might not realise that. So the best thing to do here is, if you've actually got meetings in, is to obviously share, like we've talked about in the past, share their setups, them in situ, their testimonials, get a video of their testimonial, and share what's actually been going on at the moment. But yes, I mean, obviously you do need to put into your mix, like we've just talked about, not just being reactive, but being strategic and talking about stuff for the future, because it will come back, and obviously we want to get that business on the books. So if you feel like you can't get short lead business on the books, then we talked, I think the other day as well, didn't we, Fem, about association business. You were saying that associations, because we know that they book quite a long time in advance, some of them are still booking. So, you know, we do need to talk about that longer term booking and get the business sat on the books ready so that we're not then being reactive when it comes to later on. I don't know if that answers your question, but
there's a comment from Chris as well saying you can actually do an event for larger numbers than 30 using breakout rooms and video streaming. So yes, we go into hybrid, then obviously yes, and breakout. I don't know if that technically, if you have one company, can you have 30 people in one room and 30 in another?
You can, yeah, in different
I
rooms.
imagine you could in different rooms and then just video stream them.
Yeah, you could do. And Chris is right, because that's something that I know that he's looking at doing with the Yorkshire Hotel. They're putting a hybrid package together. So yeah,
and that's what we're seeing now, that people have realized that, you know, before everyone was kind of waiting for the 1st of October, and yes, we'll do events for up to 100, but now that we're kind of go, oh okay, that's not happening, people are really looking for solutions. So whether it's, I mean, one of my clients is just asking, well, if I can't have it in the UK, I'll go somewhere else. Where can I have this event? And people are starting to think about, okay, well, maybe I can just change my setup slightly and I'm going to do it this way, because one thing that I know for absolute certain is people are desperate for face-to-face meetings. All of our clients are the same. Every time I speak to them, they're like, we just want to have an event. So yeah, this is solution time, really.
I think you're completely right, and but the message I think needs to get out there. I mean, I know I'm going off on a tangent, it's slightly different, but again, another one of my social media restaurant clients, they were really quiet this weekend because the local guidelines have changed and it's not been communicated very well from the council. So people didn't know they could actually go in as a group of 6 in a mixed household. And I think it's maybe the same a little bit with the venues industry. We do need to shout out about the fact that you can do these events up to 30, and like Chris said, it is a possibility to do it for more.
The thing is, every venue has a different opinion on the guidelines. I've definitely found this. I mean, I was discussing with 2 separate clients yesterday. The one that I met in the morning was saying that they weren't doing wakes, and they were really annoyed because they've had, you know, some inquiries, but they can't do wakes because they're not allowed to. And then another client was saying, yeah, we're doing wakes all the time. We've got loads of them in, but we're just putting them in the restaurant on separate tables, groups of 6.
It is allowed. Definitely funerals was one of the ones, wasn't it, that you can do?
Well,
the Spain up to 15 people, definitely. So yeah, it's confusing, but yes, I think.
I've got another client who's still, I mean, I'm not necessarily saying I'm advocating this or it's the right thing to do, but I've got another client that's got a massive banqueting suite and they're still selling Christmas in groups of 6.
What, like a joiner party?
Yeah. I mean, obviously they're not going to do the dancing and the, you know, this, that, and the other.
It will be interesting to hear how that picks up, though, because, you know, my first reaction was, oh my God, I would love to go to that. And then I was like, actually, I don't know if I
get us 4 tickets,
4 tickets, please. Yeah, we'll buy 6. And so
they are having bookings on it. So yeah. Interesting.
I just don't know if I'd feel safe myself. Like,
no, I think it's everyone's individual.
Everyone has different opinions, definitely. Oh, look, Nikki says, be careful. Some will still try it on. Had an inquiry for a shoot for 40. I warned the location agency that they could be fined business up to 30, but wakes definitely up to 30.
Oh, thanks, Nikki. I knew you'd know.
So, Fem, you had another question, didn't you, about prospecting?
Yeah, the question is, are we still okay to make prospect calls when we know people are struggling? And yes, you are still able to make prospect calls, but really, and we've gone through this today, this week in much detail, is do your research before you pick up the phone. So and then you might know if people are struggling. If you're just going to pick up the phone to anyone, it could be someone you've worked with before, or a cold call. Don't just pick up the phone without first having a look to see what that company is up to. Have a look at the person's LinkedIn profile to see, you know, it's quite easy to see now if someone says open to work, that pretty much means they're not there anymore. So do your research before you call anyone. And when you call people, don't just launch into your product. It's really about them and asking them questions and seeing how they are and what their needs are, and then you can find out if your product is suitable for them, and then you talk about maybe how you can match that, but don't just go on about your product. And I think in the previous question it said something about standard brochures. And I think no, standard brochures are probably not going to work at the moment, because you're sending out standard brochures to people not knowing what their needs are at the moment, and they have changed so much. So yes, and
I would maybe
don't see
before
prospecting don't see prospecting as a time where you just go on about your own product. It's really about the person that you're calling, and then seeing if it's going to work. So yes, I would say yes, you can still prospect.
I think a lot of people, Fem, as well, I know you probably know a little bit more about this, but I think a lot of people always think when they're prospecting, like you say, they're going to straight away talk about the product and straight away sell their business. But obviously, what is it? Is it 7 to 12 times that you need to make contact with people before they might buy from you? And I think on average, of course, yes, obviously you might be great, you might do it once, twice. But I think people forget that the goal might just be to start a conversation, rather than the goal is to immediately try and sell them something. It's just taking a step back, isn't it? It's like you say, not talking about you and your product, even if you are excited because you love it so much.
I think that word prospect makes it feel like you need to get a sale at the end of it, but that's not how it's done at the moment. I think relationship calls, yes, you can make relationship calls and start building those relationships for the long term, but don't think that you're going to get a sale out of it any time soon.
Well, you might
do, and that would be great, but I wouldn't go into it thinking, right, we need to get some money in the bank here.
Yeah, just keep having a goal for the next step. But like you say, make it about them, not you.
Yeah.
Chris is just
bye Chris,
thank you so much.
Bye Chris, nice to see you, thanks for joining us.
And Nikki said, I was going to call you, Fem, regarding Helms Briscoe being on my proactive to-do list for a while. That's because it's on your proactive to-do list. You need to do that in the first half an hour of your day. Call me at 9 o'clock.
She'll expect a call 9 o'clock Monday morning then, Nikki.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. Anytime.
That is
and Nikki, you're on my list to call as well, so that's hilarious.
You should put that on your to-do list, please.
Call Femke, that should be on everyone's to-do list.
In all serious note, we should definitely have a team away day at Woodhaven Space, where Nikki venue. It's amazing, and it's got a pool and a jacuzzi.
Wow. I should also say, little bit of a segue, and I can't help but do a little shameless plug, that we've got a prospecting course coming up, haven't we, the week after next? If anyone wants to learn any more, sorry, I can't help it.
That. Yeah, actually, in all serious, a lot of the questions that we have got are about proactivity and prospecting, and how do we talk to new leads, how do we get in touch with them, and that is exactly what we are going through in our challenge, not next week, the week after. And every day we go through a next step of how to research and how to get in touch with them. You'll actually come away with a list of new prospects, names of people, and a plan of action of how to tap into them. So I'm so excited about this. Can you tell?
We are talking about our product, but I do feel that there's a need there because people have been asking about it.
Yeah, well, that's why we wrote it, isn't it? Because we were like, this is what people want to hear about. And it's a challenge, so it's 20 quid and you come away with leads. I think I would book onto it if I wasn't running it.
Anyway, yeah.
I think it's great.
Lynette says, love that relationship building. And Nikki says that as well. And she says she's having these calls each day, and I have a 30-minute time slot each day to call. Ooh, that's really cool. And we can have a team meeting at Woodley. Yay!
Right.
Yay.
See you soon.
Yeah. We'll be there in an hour.
Has anybody got any other questions or any topics we'd like us to talk about in the last 10 minutes?
Yeah, we did have loads, but I don't know. Oh, Fem, I think you've got them up, haven't you?
I do have them up. Some of them are quite similar. So would an amateur video of the venue work as a highlight of how safe they are? Oh, actually, I love this question. Yes, an amateur video of the venue would work as a highlight of how safe your hotel is. And we've seen some great ones. Kate and I are always on the hunt for really good videos. And yes, it can be amateur, but just think about some of the things. So we have your phone in landscape. And our other top tip is for...
All right, social media guru.
Yeah, I'm stepping down.
Yeah, Becky, you've been placed.
And our other top tip for doing a video is make sure you have someone else with you so they can video you rather than doing kind of the kind of selfie thing, so that you can really speak to the camera as if you were talking to a person and use hand gestures and things like that. But we've seen really cool ones of people going into the hotel saying, this is the way you sanitize your hands, this is the one-way system, here are the temperature check. I'm going like this, temperature check.
That's
the
these.
temperature checks.
Yeah, no, sorry, carry on.
No, I lost what
Sorry, I
was gonna say.
ruined
Yes,
it.
so yes, yes, it doesn't. You don't have to get a professional person in. You can really
No,
people
take
love
them on
it
the journey.
when
I
it's
think.
authentic. Yeah,
Take them on the journey of how it's going to
journey.
feel. In fact, Nikki did one of these on her social media. She did it
Yeah,
herself.
you've done a few, didn't you?
And it wasn't even it wasn't like two people. It was literally walking in as if it was like a bird's eye view. And on social, I think that works really well because people actually feel what it's like to enter your venue and walk around and get the sanitizer and go to
Do you know what I would say though is these definitely all great, going through the guest journey, everything, but try and make it a little bit fun, because there are a lot of videos now going out there where it's like, this is where you sanitize your hands, this is reception, hi, I'm a receptionist. Like, I think just trying to make like the ones that Fem and the ones that we've like loved and been sending to each other and been like, oh my god, this is so cool, are the ones where they're being really supportive and it's kind of quite emotive, like they were saying,
show personality,
showing the personality. Like, think of, I know it's ridiculous and we're not advising anybody to do this, but think of our singing video. I know that it's ridiculous and completely humiliating, but it got out there, it showed us as a fun company, a thoughtful company, like it kind of ticked all the boxes that we wanted to tick, but we didn't really realize we were doing it. So yeah, all of these things and the safety aspect of it is really important. Absolutely fine to film on a phone, but think a little bit out of the box. A bit,
get the team involved, get your GM involved, get everyone involved, get a chef involved. It doesn't have to be you, it just people love to see different people from a venue getting involved and just showing lots of personality and
people like behind the scenes as well, so if you can go behind the scenes in the kitchen and stuff like that, they loved stuff like that.
We
lots more comments.
I used to work for, Aviator, they're doing a campaign at the moment on Instagram, and I just think it's hilarious. They've somehow got loads of toy pandas, like about 50 of them, and they keep like putting them in different like areas of the hotel, like and they keep putting #pandemonium. It's pandemonium. They've got these photos like at night the pandas are going to sanitize their hands, or like they're just having a glass of wine in the restaurant.
Let me write that down.
So many people are like, I don't know what to post about on social media, and I'm like, it's genius. They've just got a full loads of content and everybody's loving it.
I know somebody else that does similar to that. It is a really good idea.
It's quirky.
Not as good as Pandemonium though. I'm loving that. I've just written that down.
Sorry, Aviator, I've just given that one.
Yeah, just stealing the idea.
Okay.
Laura says, we had our medieval actors for our COVID video. I remember one people waking up from furlough. Oh, sorry, I can't.
What are you talking about?
I'm just reading
the comments.
I remember one people waking up from furlough, and again, I remember it. Oh.
That's so funny.
I think basically she's saying that they had something different, didn't they? On the COVID video.
Different.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Nikki says, happy to share my new video for all of you to critique. Oh, we will.
We will do.
Question, but Ami, we're doing lots of things you mentioned. We've pivoted afternoon tea collection, Christmas video coming, and it's all about the rule of 6. Private dining, but we're giving people the option to a festive afternoon tea in our marquee, socially distant table of 6. Like you say, it's people preference. Lots of relationship calls, meetings done, and thinking very long term. I did a post about the meeting of 30 people shouting, we can do it last week, and had great interaction. Wow, Laura's been busy.
I've just done a campaign. Actually, I've just done a campaign, Laura, for one of my clients, an email campaign, and the email campaign was entitled 6 is the magic number, and it was all the things you could do as a 6 in the venue, and it's done really well. And I had a little gif of the Friends cast.
Oh yeah.
Because obviously there's 6 of them. So if you want to steal an idea, then go for it. There's one for you.
Oh, amazing. Oh, Edwin, what do you think we should be doing for Christmas? No one's clear what's possible. Well, there you are. Laura's already done it.
I've just read read a really good article about Christmas and hospitality. So again, let me find it and I'll share the link. It talks about all the things you could do as things are so uncertain. So we'll get that for you as well.
I think Christmas will be a bit last minute.
Yeah.
I think it's good for venues to come up with ideas. And I think people are going to wait to see what the regulations and local lockdowns are at that point, because in some areas you may not be able to meet with another household, or in some areas you can. So it might just be kind of a last minute, oh, let's just book this. So
well, this article was talking about things again, like pivoting, like can you send out like Christmas packages to individuals so they can have like a Christmas party together, you know, virtually, and can you send a can you send, and also can you send a Christmas meal to their premises rather than them coming to you, and just lots of different ideas. So I will find it. I can't find it at this minute, and I'll post it because there was some good ideas.
We have that option at Helmsborough, so just say,
brilliant,
if that's allowed.
Why not? Why not? Go for it.
Plug away.
Back. Yes. Anyway, we have an outdoor light trail illuminates for the month of December, completely outdoors. So this will be able to go ahead, and whatever the numbers. So watch out. We all need things to look forward to. Oh, I love that from Laura.
That sounds amazing, Laura.
It is lovely.
And another client of mine has done something similar, actually, Laura. They've just put on their outside area, they've just put like obviously not, what's the word I'm looking for, a covering or whatever it is over, and they're going to do the whole like twinkly lights thing and sort of turn it into like a bit of a make it feel, even though it's outside, almost like a bit of a, what's the word I'm looking for, you know, like the Christmassy, not cabiny things, like the
grotto.
Yeah, a little bit like that, but obviously in a more upmarket way. So they've literally just put that on in the last couple of days so that they can sell that space outside, you know, in a different way.
This could be the best Christmas ever.
It could be, yeah.
I mean, at least we don't have to have too many family around.
Yeah, there won't be the argument about who's going where for Christmas. Would it be like, well, come on.
I'm quite happy to cancel Christmas and just be the three of us, sit in my pajamas and eat red wine. Drink red wine.
We've never had Christmas. I don't like Christmas very much. So normally we go away for. Normally we go away for Christmas. And yesterday I said to Ross, maybe this year we'll have a proper traditional Christmas at home with a tree. Yes. And apparently at Next they're selling gravy boats in the shape of a Santa sleigh. So I'm going to get.
Oh God!
Oh, so you're going to go from one extreme to the other. You're going to go from nothing to just like everything.
I reckon this is going to be your year.
Lit up.
This is going to be your year, Fan. You'll love it.
Is it going to be lit like Deck the Halls on the outside?
I don't understand why you don't like Christmas so much when you love red wine so much. Because Christmas for me is just all about.
I don't need it to be Christmas. I don't need it to be Christmas to drink red wine. No.
Right, so we're nearly at the end. Has anybody got any more?
Definitely went on a tangent.
Comments or questions?
So Nikki, very last minute, we had a 2-day global company meeting cancelled for next week. Heartbreaking. Not due to our situation, but some of the folks attending it under local lockdown. That's so frustrating. Laura, great opportunities to work with event suppliers. We're having log cabins, but need some people. But seeing some people have igloos, etc. I think people have the best food since lockdown. I think this would be great Christmas, even if it's different. Yeah.
We have teepees not far from here, which I'm sure you guys probably have as well. And they're just going to do like, instead of having like the bigger teepees, they're going to do like teepees for 6. That would be really cool.
Yeah. Right, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming along. I hope it was useful this morning. We'll pop a link to our prospecting challenge in the Facebook group. Might as well.
Rude not to.
Lots of the questions were based around prospecting, to be fair, or relationshiping, as we shall now call it. But yes,
Nikki, I'm looking forward to a relationship with you later.
To having a relationship with you. I don't think she meant that.
Going to a whole new different level now, isn't it?
Relationshiping, not relation.
Oh yeah.
Having a relationship.
Edwin, where can we book and find out about your future courses and challenges? Well,
as you ask.
We have. Is anyone putting? Becky, were you putting the thing?
I can put a link in. Yeah. One sec.
I'll get
Bear
the
with, bear
Eventbrite.
with.
You get the other one up.
What do you mean the other one?
So we on our website sellingsavvy.com/events, we there's a list of everything that we're
Do you want
doing.
me to put that in?
Yeah, please. And I'll get the Eventbrite link up for the prospecting challenge. Yeah, it's got everything we're doing, and these guys have massively whipped me into shape, and we now have a plan for the next 3 months of everything that we're doing. So yeah, we've got some really juicy ones coming up, but they're all up on there. Yeah, I'll put it on there now. Thank you so
Happy
much.
weekend, everyone.
Yeah, happy
Yeah,
weekend,
happy
everybody.
weekend.
Sorry, I'm being a bit slow, but I will put it in there.
That's all right, I can do it. I'm on it now.
And we promised we didn't plan Edwin to say, where can we find out about your future causes and challenges?
Yeah,
But
I
thanks,
know.
Edwin.
Well,
It just sounded a bit
Paid
sus.
him for that.
Oh my gosh, I can't get onto Facebook. Right, I'm popping the links in here now anyway. Thank you very much, guys.
See you later.
Thanks, everybody. Have a lovely weekend.
Yes. See you soon. I'm just going to put this.
Yeah, let me just pop this in before we disappear as well.
Right, I've put them both in there.
Oh, you've got it. Oh, I was just doing it.
I'm on it. Don't
On the
worry.
ball. She's on it. She's on it.
Oh, it's not worked. Oh, I'll sort it out and do it again.
Has. I've got it.
No, the events one hasn't worked. Sorry, we're just having complete internal.
Talking to ourselves.
We'll put
Yeah.
it in there, Edwin. Thank you so much, guys. Speak to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.